Hello, this is Goat. I believe that the recent rivalry between Sinner and Alcaraz has brought tremendous excitement to men's tennis. But didn't women's tennis have such a big 3 inches or rivalry? While pondering this question, I'd like to discuss the rivalry between Steffi Graf and Monica Seles from the early 1990s. Let's examine together this story that remains controversial, due to an unfortunate incident that left the question of who was the better player in the realm of what if. Steffi Graf is one of the best female tennis players I know. She achieved the only calendar Golden Grand Slam in tennis history, men's and women's combined, in 1988, won a total of 22 Grand Slam titles, and accumulated 107 career titles, making her one of the legendary figures in women's tennis. Her singles record stands at 900 wins and 115 losses, boasting an 88.67% win rate. I believe it's fair to say that the late 1980s through the 1990s was Steffi Graf's era. However, there are certainly people who would argue against this. Some claim that if not for the unfortunate incident, the 1990s would have been Monica Seles' era. Let's first examine Monica Seles' career achievements. Seles was not a career Golden Slam winner. She never won Wimbledon. However, she won a total of 9 Grand Slam titles at the other 3 majors. Her career total of 53 titles is also a considerable achievement. Her singles record is 595 wins and 122 losses, with an 82.98% win rate. If we simply compare career achievements, it seems clear who was superior. So why would there be any argument? It's because the impact Monica Seles showed from 1991 to 1993, before the unfortunate incident, was tremendous. In 1991, she skipped Wimbledon but won the other 3 Grand Slams. In 1992, she was runner-up at Wimbledon and won the other 3 Grand Slams. In 1993, before the incident, she won the Australian Open. On May 1, 1993, during a break in the quarterfinal match at the Hamburg Citizen Cup, a stabbing incident occurred that interrupted her playing career for an extended period. It's known that the psychological trauma was greater than the physical harm, and she returned to competition starting with the hard-court season in 1995, after more than 2 years of rehabilitation. Since her only Grand Slam title after her return was the 1996 Australian Open, people argue that simple career comparisons are not appropriate for determining which player was superior. Let me summarize once more. From 1991 to 1993, Seles won all Grand Slams except Wimbledon. The argument is that if not for that incident, the 1990s would have been Seles' era, not Graf's. And I have a somewhat different perspective on this. I don't think it's appropriate to compare what a player actually achieved throughout their career with what they might have achieved under hypothetical circumstances. Can we confidently say that if that incident hadn't happened, Seles could have achieved as much as Graf? Wouldn't other hypothetical scenarios also apply? Who can be certain that she could have focused solely on tennis and achieved tremendous results without any serious injuries, personal problems, either her own or those of people close to her, etc.? I believe that career achievements built on countless real circumstances cannot be compared with imaginary achievements created in hypothetical scenarios. Furthermore, I don't think there's solid evidence to suggest that Seles was definitively superior to Graf just because she won all Grand Slams except Wimbledon before the incident and maintained the world #1 ranking. Their overall head-to-head record was 10-5 in Graf's favor, and even during Monica's peak years from 1991 to 1993, Graf led their encounters 3-2. Despite the turmoil of her father being sentenced to prison for tax evasion and herself being investigated for tax evasion, Graf won Wimbledon and the US Open that year. I hope we don't confuse hypothetical scenarios with actual achievements. In my country, there's a tendency to downplay Graf's achievements due to a combination of factors. Seles' world #1 ranking, her dominance in Grand Slams, except Wimbledon, her young age, and the perception that the attack was carried out by a Graf fan motivated by jealousy. For this reason, I've looked at many comparison articles by international fans, but I haven't found any that were intuitive and definitive. What do you think? Who do you believe was the better player?